Good morning or good afternoon, everybody. In this lecture, we're gonna be able to edit a particular contact. So when you click on this detail, it'll take you to here and be able to edit it. Now, if you go ahead and run it, and what we've done in the past, we're gonna wait a little bit here. So we had it running. What happens is that when you click on a particular contact, or when you click on the plus, it allows you to go in here and then add a particular contact. But if you click on this, it doesn't do anything. So what I'm going to do is that when I click on this, it takes me here, and then I can edit the contact. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is that we need to select this cell, not the content view. Make sure you select the cell. All right. So here it is. This is the cell. You select it and right click in here. And what do you want to select? You want to select show. Now you have two things. You have selection segue or accessory action. The accessory action is that you can have an accessory and click on the accessory and then take you here. Now I'm going to just simply, when I select it, it's going to take me to here. So I'm going to say this here. All right. And then we need to give it a name, because I can go to the screen in two different ways. We can go to the screen clicking on the plus, or you can go to the screen clicking on this on the cell itself. So you need to give it a name, and then that name, I'm going to call it edit right now. All right. So remember this name. Okay. Now let's examine this the table of view controller. If you go to the table of view controller, which is here, context table of view controller, what we did after we define our attribute, we have a function here that is called it's called get all records. And what this function does, it give you a list. Here is the get all functions. It fetches created the request, fetches the request, and then you should get an array of records, managed object records in that array. All right. So the array that we have is here, which is context, and it is an S managed object. In the viewDidLoad method, or not the viewDidLoad, in the cell for row method, what we did, here it is, we got the object, and then when we click on it, it'll take me to, when it gets the values from the record and update the cell, okay? So now we have a function here that's commented out, which is prepare for segue, okay, which is called navigation. Okay, do you see that? Marked as navigation. What I'm going to do, I'm going to uncomment this function. And the process goes like this, okay? So first, you need to identify which segue you are editing, right? Or you clicked on. Okay, and that is, how do you do that? You use the segue. So I'm going to say if segue dot identifier. Remember, what did we call it? It's equal to edit. That means I'm going to that screen by clicking on the cell, which means I'm going to edit it. Okay, you could do it other ways. You can do swipe left and then select an edit button, but we're not going to do that here. So that means I'm going there on the purpose of editing, for the purpose of editing. So the next thing you need to do is that you need to get the cell that you selected, okay, or that you clicked on. So get the cell that was selected, okay? And how do you do that? Okay, so there is a function that is called here, let index path equal to what? Equal to table view, okay, there's table view dot selected cell for selected index. I think it's a cell for selected row. Or is that one of the options here for selected? No. Oh gosh, here. Selected. Okay, index path for selected rows or index path for selected row. Okay, that's the one that you want. Okay, so index path table view dot index for the selected row. This will give you the index path of the selected row. But when you know the index path, then the next thing you do is that get the object from the array and pass it to the view controller. Okay. Okay, and how do you do that? First, you need to get the view controller. So you say let view controller equal the segue dot destination as, remember what we call that? It's called view controller. Okay. Okay, so that will give you reference to the view controller. Probably we need to unwrap this here. All right, so then the next thing you need to do is that assign the attribute or the contact attribute to the selected object in here. Okay, so how do you do that? So first, you got the index path, right? So you can say let contact equal what? Equal index path, sorry, contacts and then you can say index path, the one we just defined above that row. That will give you the row that you selected, right? Then after this, you just say vc dot contact, you have a contact object there equal to the contact that we got from the array. Okay, that's all you do. Why is this saying error type? That's funny. Should be as index path here. All right. All right. Okay. So now what we need to do is that we need to go to the view controller and then check, do I have an object? Am I in the edit mode or I am in the add mode? And the way you do it is simple. If you go to the view controller and then you have an object already here called contact. And notice this is an optional variable. So if you come to it for the first time, it is going to be nil. But if you come to it and it's already assigned, that means I clicked on that edit, that means I have an object, okay? So what do? You need to, first, we need to check. Notice here when I say, we have a button here, do you see that says save, right? Here, I save the object regardless, okay? Whether it is a new or not, because I already have a function here called save in new. So if I go in here, and here's my save in new, and in the save in new, what am I doing? First thing I'm doing is that I am checking that I'm getting the description and creating the object. Now, if you already have an object, you don't need to do these pieces. Now, you can just add a simple statement here, if a statement here, and then you'll be done. If you wanted to do it differently, if you want to have one method function to do the save new and one function to update, all you have to do, remember that we have in that common method, we have a function here called update. And that function does the same thing basically without creating those two objects. So it's up to you how you want to do it. So I can copy this in here if you want to copy this and invoke that function. Or let's go back in here and then, sorry, in the view controller, where's the view controller? The view controller, and we can simply add an if statement in here. And the if statement goes like this. If contact does not equal to nil, or if it's equal to nil, what do you want to do? You want to create the object. That's all. Okay, so this will create the object. Okay. Otherwise, if it already comes in with a value without if it comes in with a value, you don't create the entity because the object is already created and it's in the database. To test it, I'm going to put a debug point in here. All right, and I'm going to go to the table view controller here, and we're going to put a debug point here just to make sure things working properly. Okay, let's compile it, and then let's go ahead and run it. All right, what am I waiting for? All right. So what should happen when I click on this, it comes to the prepare for segue. This should be edit now because I clicked on it. It is edit. So, all right, so that's okay. That's okay. And that is fine. We got the view controller. We got the object. And then that should be okay. All right. So now we're okay, but what happens? We did not update the screen. So if I click, it will take all of this information and it will be basically setting it to a blank. So we got the first error, all right? So I'm not gonna click on save. I'm gonna click on stop. And then what am I gonna do? I'm going to go to the view controller, and in the view did load, you see that? In the view did load, I'm gonna check if contact does not equal to nil. What do we want to do? We want to call the function that updates the screen from the object. Now we did not copy it into the we did not copy it from the common class, but let's see if we did. Let me see the function. See here, you don't have, we have put data, but we don't have get data, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call the function get data, all right? And it's not here yet, but I'm going to go to the common method function, and here is my function that say get data, all right? So I'm going to copy this guy, command copy, go back to the view controller, and you can put it wherever you like, but let's put it at the end. And let's review it. What does it do? It gets the first name, gets the last name, get the email, get the image. It populated the record with the values. Okay, so I'm okay. But what about the image? We haven't updated the image. And what about the text field? We haven't updated the text field. So what do you need to do? You say txt mobile.text equal phone. Okay. Then you say txt email.text equal email, all right? And then you can say txt dot first name equal dot text equal first name. Okay, is that correct? All right. Did it not like that? Oh, no, it's okay. Why? Oh, because of this here. Okay, and then you can do txt dot last name dot text equal last name. Okay, then the last thing we need to do is that we need to do the image. So we have contact img contact image dot image equal to what? Equal to image. And I did not explain this, but let me explain it to you. Here, this part, we got the data. What we're doing here, we're getting the information. I explained it in the previous video. And then here we got the image. We take the data and convert it to an image, and then we assign the image view on the screen with that image, all right? We take the opposite of converting the image into binary data here, all right? So we're taking the data, converting it into an image. All right, so we have here get data. Let's see what we have in the view did load. We have get data in the view did load. Yeah, so we got view did and if you want to be sure that we are correct, all you do is just put a debug point here to see if it works, okay? And hopefully there are no more errors here. So now all you could do is I click on this. Fine, it got me to get data, step, 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 step. Okay, and you can run it now. Now I got my values. Now if I change this to 999 and I click on save, and is the contact nil? No, it's not nil, so I don't need to create this object. So, okay, now I'm going to take the data, call that functions that take whatever in the screen and puts it in the record. Okay, so run it, record saved, success. Now if I go back, now that's the number. You got it? So that is how you edit. You could do the same thing with this. I'm going to remove the edit points, the breakpoints, and then you can change this guy here, whatever name you want, and then click on save, okay, remove that, and then success, go back, and then it's updated. All right, that is the end of this lecture on how to edit records in the core data. All right, I'll see you in the next video.